What Lonzo Thinks is a wide-ranging, free-flowing discussion where I offer my unsolicited views on everything from movies, music, politics, sports, religion, pop culture, you name it. If it's happening, I'm talking about it, I'm thinking about it. My thoughts are unsolicited, but they always are, they always will be, I think. Alright, I got a special guest with me, Jake Wade. Son, what's the business?
Yo, thanks for having me on again. I am excited to speak today.
No doubt. You don't sound excited. Why don't you sound excited, man?
I'm very excited. I'm actually very, very, very excited. Let's do it.
Okay, well, fake it till you make it. Hey, that being said, you know when you watch like shows on TV and all this kind of stuff, you know, like The Voice or The View, where people like be talking and shit or whatever, you know, and they have to, you don't have to have that energy and everything. You know, do you ever think like maybe this person like having like a crummy day and they're just putting on a big facade?
Oh, I feel that way about everything. Like those shows and like talk shows like Ellen and like what is it? Let's Make a Deal. All those shows, like those aren't terrible shows, but those people on there seem to me like they're really playing a role. And if you got them off camera, they'd be like, "Get out of my face," you know. I think a lot of TV shows are like that, and you just have to. If that's your job, you know, you have to come to the job acting like, "Oh, I'm so happy, everything is so great in my life," and then you know, nobody really knows the true pain in your life when you're on camera.
Oh, absolutely. You know, because these cats are getting checks. When I ain't talking about just regular checks, they're getting big checks. So of course that's their motivation for putting on that facade or whatever. Because I'm doing this shit here for free, and you're doing it for free. But I'm telling you now, if I was getting a big fat juicy check, best believe I'd be the happiest motherfucker on the planet. You know what I mean? And the house could be on fire. I'll still sound like everything's hunky dory. You know what I mean? So you got to keep that in mind. And that makes me think about something. As I was actually driving today, and I drive a lot. Actually, I drove down to Macon this morning because today's my kid's birthday. So Noah and Mackenzie, they're 14 years old today. If you're listening, Daddy loves you. Happy birthday. Anyways, I'm driving back, and my mind often wanders when I'm driving because I-75 is just nothing but road. There's nothing to see on I-75 between Macon and Atlanta. So if anyone is driven between Macon and Atlanta, I-75, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's just absolutely nothing to see. The only thing there is to see is the Tanger outlet. That's about it. So my mind tends to wander a little bit while I'm driving. Anyways, I was thinking today about meeting about some of the famous people that I've met in my life, and I was like, wow, I've met a lot of famous people in my life or whatever, right? And one of the things that I want to kind of talk about, I guess I really wasn't planning on talking about it today on this particular show, but since the thought has hit my mind, I'm going to talk about it a little bit. Is that how do you react, or how are you supposed to react when you meet somebody who's famous and you're a nobody, and how are you supposed to act towards that person? And correct me if I'm wrong here. I'm sure you've met some famous people in your life, so you can kind of chime in on this. But whenever I meet someone who's like really really famous or whatever, I always try to act like it's no big deal. And I think like one of the taboo things to say to a person that you meet that's famous, especially someone that works in entertainment, is that I'm a big fan or that I love your work. I think that's like one of the taboo things to say. And I'm just speculating because I'm not a famous person. But if a famous person hears that from someone they meet, it's like really annoying because they feel like they have to say something nice in return. But the person they're saying but the things they're saying in return is to someone who's like a nobody. Now I think if you meet someone who's famous, and you're famous too, say you both work in entertainment, then it's okay to say, hey, I'm a big fan of your work, because they can say, okay, I'm a big fan of your work as well. But if you're an insurance salesman and you meet Michael Jackson, Michael Jackson's dead. Give me somebody who's famous, and you meet Beyonce. Okay, so you're an insurance salesman and you meet Beyonce. But hey, Beyonce, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of your work. What can she say to you other than thank you? Why even say that? And I would think as a famous person, that would be like really annoying, because you feel like you have to say something nice in return to this this nothing, nobody, this inconspicuous person that you'll never see again in your life. You know what I mean? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, it's been my experience that a lot of people, when I say something like that, the only nice thing they'll say is, "Oh, thank you, I really appreciate that." And I think that's what you're supposed to say. You don't have to say, "Oh, yeah, I'm happy that you're a fan of mine. You look cool." You know, you can't. What are they gonna say? They don't know you. So, thank you, I really appreciate that is really all you can say. Now, the celebrities that I've met, most of them have not. Those meetings didn't really turn out that well. I try not to meet celebrities. I try not to meet people that I know, that I like, because I always end up leaving with some feeling that I don't like them anymore. And that's weird because, they're people. They're allowed to not love you, I guess. But a lot of times when I come across celebrities, that is what they will say to me. So that's the right response, I think.
Yeah, I mean, because like I said, because when I meet somebody who's like really famous, whatever, I try not. I go out of my way to not act starstruck. You know what I mean, and to not fawn over them at all. I want to be like, I want to treat if I meet a famous person, I treat them like somebody that works at Chick-fil-A or whatever. If you recognize them, hey, how you doing, whatever, right, and kind of keep it moving or whatever. And I think that they appreciate that. At least I would hope so. Versus having this, this inane conversation, with somewhere where you kind of like expected to be gracious when even especially when graciousness is not part of your DNA. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
so that's my word of advice to anyone listening out there. If you meet somebody famous or whatever, chill yourself. All right, don't be, oh God, it's you. I can't believe it's you. Can I get an autograph? Oh my God. I mean, I think that's why a lot of famous people, people think are assholes. Or people say they're assholes because just think about it. You're world famous. Everywhere you go, every time you stick your head out the goddamn door, you know what I mean? Someone's gonna fawn over you. Somebody that you've never met before, someone that you're never ever gonna see again is gonna fawn over you, and you have to deal with that over and over and over and over and over again. And then people say, well, that's the price of fame. That's part of the the price that you pay to be rich and famous and to get all the things you've gotten out of life, which is true. But anything in excess, is not good. I mean, so if you get an excess of everywhere you go, people are fawning over you. After a while, I don't care how much money you got, how much fame you have, it's gonna wear on you, and you're gonna be like, motherfucker, leave me alone. I'm just trying to have a fucking hamburger, please. You know what I mean? So I get it. So I try to be empathetic and sympathetic when it comes to famous people, and not, like I said, not fawn over them. And I don't hold it against famous people who are rude or whatever, because I think starting out, especially in the entertainment industry where you crave that fame and that because it's something that you dreamed about as a child, and that's why you got into movies or music or whatever you got into, was to have that that adulation that comes along with it. So I try to be respectful of that and understanding that this person may be an asshole for a reason, but they didn't start out that way. So that's my word of advice to people out there who meet famous people. Just don't act like they're famous, and I think they'll appreciate that. So, anyway.
Yeah. I've never met a celebrity like in public. Every time I've met somebody, they either came to my job, or I met them like at a show. And I'll tell a brief story. This is not really a story, but the most starstruck I've ever been over anybody, and it's weird that it's the case, but most starstruck I've ever been over anybody was Jasmine Guy when she came to the job that I have to promote something. And I wanted to get an autograph, and I didn't know what to say, and I just walked up to her and sounded really stupid. Like, I didn't really, like, words did not really come out of my mouth. And she made conversation with me out of that somehow, but she was very nice. But I did not know what to say. And from there, I've decided, whenever I meet a celebrity, I will not really say anything to them at all. Hi, thank you. Uh, that was a good show or whatever. May I have an autograph or what? I don't know, something like that. But that was a fail at that moment.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. And for folks out there who may not be familiar with the name Jasmine Guy, she played Whitley on A Different World. And if you've never seen A Different World, it was a show from the late 80s, early 90s. It was a black show. It was a spinoff of The Cosby Show about black kids, or about kids at a predominantly black college, or HBCU. So context, if you don't know who Jasmine Guy is. Not like she's someone who's on the tip of people's tongues or whatever. That being said, the most famous person that I've ever met is I met Michael Jordan once. I met Michael Jordan at a nightclub. But this was before Michael Jordan became Michael Jordan. He's always been Michael Jordan, but he wasn't at the height of his fame yet. He was in the NBA at the time, but he wasn't like the global icon that he is. That he became later in his career. This was in like 87, 88. Obviously, he was still an NBA superstar. He just wasn't at that in the stratosphere just yet. So he was in the back of this nightclub that I was in playing pool, and I was actually back there playing pool as well. So he comes in with a couple friends or whatever, and they were like, well, we got next or whatever, right? And I remember looking up and seeing it was Michael Jordan or whatever, and I was like, hey, MJ, you guys win tonight? And he was like, no, we didn't win. And this was in San Antonio. I'm a Spurs fan or whatever. And I guess the Bulls went in time to play the Spurs. I said, hey, MJ, you guys win tonight or whatever? He said, nah. He said, they got this one. He said, we'll get them next time. I said, well, you going to? I said, you get on the table with me, and you'll lose twice tonight. And he just kind of laughed, and that was it. And obviously, I didn't play pool against him, whatever. But I'm like, damn, that's Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? But I was like, oh God, MJ, oh my God, can I? Nah, hell no. The dude came in, tried to play some pool, whatever. And I'm not gonna, that's just not my DNA to fawn over another person anyway, especially somebody who's famous. Now that being said, anyone who knows me knows that I'm like the world's biggest Prince fan, and I think if I ever would have met Prince, I think that's the only time I would have been like, oh shit, fuck, it's you, I've come close to Prince a couple times, but never in a way that I could actually meet him. So, anyways, I know I'm way the hell off subject, but like I said before, you meet somebody famous, cut on some slack. And don't be like saying that a person's an asshole, because believe me, the thrill is all yours to meet them. The thrill is not theirs to meet your ass. So.
Oh yeah. One thing though.
What?
So I like to mention this because I don't understand it and it makes me sad to this day. I met Jizza, the genius. I think I told you this before.
Yeah, I do. Uh-huh.
Yeah, and after a show, and all I did was dap him down, and I said thank you, and he just stared at me, and I can't get that out of my mind. Like, I don't hold anything against him, but I'm like, why? Why didn't you say something?
But dude, this is Jizza. I mean, and folks out there listening who don't know who Jizza is, that's the genius from Wu-Tang Clan. He's one of the greatest hip-hop artists of all time. He's the member of the greatest hip-hop group of all time. So, once again, like I said before, Jizza, he's been around the globe. You know what I mean? He's met thousands and thousands of fans before a show, after a show. He's heard it all. So that that might have been your first time, but it wasn't his first time. And him, I'm sure, just bounced off him like the millions of other compliments he's gotten, or what ups he's gotten in his lifetime since he got involved in the entertainment business. So cut the dude some slack. So now Michael Jordan did say something really profound in an interview once. He said that whenever he's in public, whatever, or whenever he's going to work, he always like wear a suit, dressed to the nines and everything. And he said that because he knows that for some people it'll be the first time and only time ever seeing him, and that's important to them. So he always tries to put up the best persona possible, because he knows even though it's not a thrill for him, that person he just met, it's a thrill for them that they'll probably never forget. So that's something. But obviously Michael Jordan, he's someone who really planned out and thought out his whole path when it came to being a superstar, and he took those things into consideration. I think a lot of folks, who are famous, whatever, don't take those things into consideration and think that, hey, this fan that's fawning over me, this is probably the only time in their life they ever try to, ever see me, and they should be respectful of that as well. And like I said, it's definitely a game of give and take, definitely. So, and I was just thinking about something else I wanted to say, and I lost my train of thought, and I hate it when I lose my train of thought. But there was something else profound I wanted to bring up, and what was it? Damn it, I hate it when that happens. What we're talking about? You were talking about Jizza, and it is totally escaped me. Okay, well, I hate it when that happened. It was something profound too. Anyway, who knows? It might come back to me. All right, but you know what? This is not today's topic.
No.
Today's topic is Band-Aid. Do they know it's Christmas? Of course, we've talked about USA for Africa and also USA for Haiti in our previous shows, and I thought it was important because this is what started it all is Band-Aid. Do they know it's Christmas? So just to kind of I guess just to kind of button up the trilogy, it's very important that we at least address the the phenomenon that got this whole superstars get together and sing for poor people thing together. So that being said, USA for Africa, USA for Haiti, Band-Aid, do they know it's Christmas? All right. Of course, Band-Aid was a charity supergroup that featured mostly British and Irish recording acts. And of course, as you well know, was put together by Bob Geldof of the Boomtown Rats. He also obviously helped put together with USA for Africa. Once again, as a member of the Boomtown Rats, it was brought to his attention the plight of what was going on in Africa as far as the famine and everything. So it really touched his heart, and he felt that he needed to do something to get this out into the stratosphere, so people knew that would know that what's going on in Africa, how treacherous it is, and he wanted to raise money to help feed the people in Africa. So once again, it was a great humanitarian effort by a singer. He was the lead singer of a band that never really did much, and that's the Boomtown Rats. And I've also spoken about my feelings about Bob Geldof as far as the fact that he called Prince a jerk for not showing up, for not participating in USA for Africa. So I've always had beef with Bob Geldof for that. But as far as his ability to put this whole thing together, he gets nothing but love and props from me on that. So Bob Geldof, if you're out there listening, great job. We appreciate what you did. It did start a worldwide phenomenon. Good on you. Jake, your thoughts?
Yeah. I think that what he did was a noble thing, rather than, you can be cynical about it and say, oh, he did this for publicity purposes. That's what we said about We Are the World. But I think this song was probably pretty sincere because it was the first, and it wasn't really aimed at the world so much as it was aimed at people who would pay attention to them to donate to their charity for the cause that they were singing for. And it takes a lot to actually be the kind of person who actually looks at something happening in the world and say, you know what, I really care about this. This is something that we need to try to do. I can do something about it with the power that I have, and I'm gonna make it happen. I have a band, and my band is not the biggest band in the world, but we have a voice of some sort, and we can get together and try to make a difference in this country, Ethiopia. To try to help these people who are actually starving and dying of disease and things like that. And I think it kind of speaks to Bob Geldof's actual humanity. The way that he actually, he seems like a really good person actually to have even thought this is something we need to do. So I give him tons of props for that. And I don't think I knew before you told me that he said that about Prince, but even that doesn't take away how I feel about this situation in particular. I think it was a great thing, and USA for Africa came in and tried to outdo them, and that is, you don't really want to take anything from them either. But as you said, it was a competition, and that's very insincere. But this was a sincere thing, and I really applaud them for this.
All right, now, man, slow your roll just a little bit, okay? Pump your brakes a little bit now. One thing, I'm a big context guy. I'm all about, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I am all about context. Okay, so you gotta look at the full picture from a macro, not a micro perspective. Now, you gotta keep in mind, Bob Geldof, he's the lead singer of the Boomtown Rats. A shitty group that never did anything. Maybe he's in a situation where, hey, the band's not doing too well. We're going to lose our recording contract or whatever. I need to do something to get my name out there. Hey, guess what? I'll use this to get my name out there. You know what I mean? Because this publicity is really if this thing goes right, this publicity is going to put me, on the tip of a lot of people's tongues. And I can open a lot of doors that were previously unopened to me if I can kind of get my name out there. Because I'm telling you now, this happened back in 1984. I'm sure back in 1983 when nobody really trying to book the Boomtown Rats, to be headlining any concerts or anything. So, you always gotta look at, these things with a side eye. So Bob, good on you, but at the same time, ain't like you're setting the world on fire.
Well, maybe. I mean, if you want to be really cynical about it, and I don't think. I'm a cynical person, but I don't think everything requires that. And in this situation, I mean, yeah, maybe, but we don't know that for a fact. So I'm not willing to say that it's definitely what was on his mind. Maybe it was, but I want to give him the benefit of the doubt that he actually thought that, this is something that we can try to change.
I feel you. I'm just throwing it out there, like I said. Oh, another thing I thought about previously. Why wasn't Sally Struthers contacted? Why didn't he go to her for any assistance or feedback or something? What's up with that?
Wasn't she found to be corrupt?
Was she? Sally Struthers? No. Gloria from All in the Family? Sally Struthers? Really?
Wasn't she stealing the money when asking for money for these kids?
That's the first time. Really?
Maybe not. Maybe not.
Man, don't crush my dreams, man. Come on now.
Wait a minute. I'm going to look this up real quick.
Yeah, look that up, man, because Sally Struthers, man, come on now. And folks out there listening, if you don't know who Sally Struthers is, she's an actress who came to fame on the television program All in the Family back in the 70s. And she started raising money for the poor kids in Africa, trying to help feed them and everything. And she's the one who go on TV talking about like infomercials and everything, saying you can feed this kid for 5 cents a day or whatever. And she's been doing that for like forever. I mean, so she kind of like dedicated her life to trying to help other people and everything. So if it turns out that Sally Struthers was a crook, then man, I'm feeling kind of sad now, man. Please tell me it's not true.
No, actually I'm wrong.
Oh, thank God.
I got it from. It didn't happen. But okay.
All right, man. You shooting blanks, man. Okay.
I guess that's my cynicism coming through. I could have sworn I heard something about that, because that always happens. People take up a cause, and then it turns out that they're broking people out of money. So I could have sworn I heard this about her, but I didn't. Apparently, I don't see any evidence of that. So I apologize to Miss Sally Struthers. So yeah, I'm wrong.
Okay, good. Because you 0 for 2 now, man. So you got some apologizing to do. You said Faye Dunaway was dead. And now you're saying Sally Struthers was a crook.
You know what? I don't worship celebrities, so I don't know everything about everybody.
You ain't gotta worship celebrities
I am someone who pays a lot of attention to news, especially bad news. So when I hear these types of things, they stick in my mind, and I sometimes I put them in the wrong places, but whenever bad news comes out, I usually remember that.
Well, you don't have to be a celebrity freak to be diligent enough to realize that Faye Dunaway's not dead.
Faye Dunaway played the woman in the movie who is dead. So that is, I just said the wrong name. I was wrong.
Okay, Denzel Washington played Malcolm X, who's dead, but everybody's saying Denzel Washington's dead. Come on, man, chill.
Not?
Huh?
He's not?
All right now, man. All right now, don't get me started now. Come on now, Jake. Come on now, Jake. My nigga.
Because when he was dead.
Hoyt.
He died.
Come on now, Hoyt.
1968.
Stop it.
I could have sworn Denzel Washington got shot.
He got shot about 90 times at the end of training day or something. But I think he survived his injuries.
That's weird. How do you survive that? I could have sworn he died.
Yeah, well,
Man,
because King Kong ain't got shit on him. Hoyt.
apparently.
Was Hoyt's name Jake in that movie? Was his first name Jake? It was Jake Hoyt, wasn't it?
I think so.
My
Let
nigga.
me look that up. 'Cause I think so.
And you know his character was Alonzo Harris, man. So it's like a lot of
Yeah.
symmetry here, man. So.
Yeah.
Hoyt.
Yep, Jake Hoyt.
Yeah.
That was his name.
You want to go home? You want to go to jail? One of the most quotable movies of all time. So if you haven't seen Training Day, what are you waiting on?
It was a very good movie.
Oh.
I went into it thinking I wouldn't like it, and I loved it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, but come on now. Denzel, he's one of those few actors, man, where he can be in a terrible movie and he can still redeem it. Because, like, for example, I watched Equalizer 2 about a month ago, and that movie's fucking awful. I mean, it fucking sucks. I mean, it sucks ass. But it's watchable because Denzel's in it. You know, you put any other actor in that same role, and you turn it off after 20 minutes, you know. But I actually sat through the whole steaming pile of goo because Denzel, even though he was like phoning in his performance, you know, he just has that charisma that makes you want to watch him because you always think it's going to get better. So that's a trait that Denzel does have. That's why he's the greatest living American actor today, black or white. And he's on a short list of greatest actors of all time. He's definitely the greatest black actor ever. He's definitely the GOAT. So Denzel, good on you, son.
Denzel?
Hoyt?
Denzel, not Tom Hanks?
Hell no.
That's what people say.
I mean, Tom Hanks is great. I'm not gonna throw any shade on Tom Hanks because he is great. But I think when it comes just to raw charisma and the ability to kind of just dominate the screen every time he's on it, no one can really top Denzel. Whereas Tom Hanks, he's more understated. He doesn't really dominate scenes when he's on it. You know, when he's in a film, he's a good ensemble actor, and he does stand out, and he does give great performances, and he does have that screen presence that a movie star needs. But Denzel, once again, it's hard for anyone. There's only one time I've seen somebody, outact or steal a movie from Denzel, and that was Don Cheadle in Devil in a Blue Dress. He played Mouse. I don't know if you've ever seen that before. That's the only time I've ever seen Denzel get blown off the screen. And that was early in Denzel's career. And I think he maybe learned something from that. First of all, never do a film with Don Cheadle. And second of all, to make sure that, when he is in a film or whatever, that he's always giving his A game. So yeah, in my opinion, my humble opinion, Denzel Washington is the greatest black actor of all time and in the top 5 of the greatest actors, period, of all time. That's just me. So I could be wrong. But anyways, we're digressing. We're way off point here. But I'm gonna steer it back. Oh, by the way, we were talking about Sally Struthers and crooks and all that kind of stuff, and people who do things for it looks like it's a humanitarian thing. We're actually just trying to get the loot or whatever. You remember the story about the lady who borrowed $20 from the homeless guy to put gas in her car, and then went back and set up like a GoFundMe for him to get him off the street or whatever.
Yeah.
And the whole thing was a scam that her boyfriend and the homeless guy kind of set up. Now,
Yep.
That is the lowest of the low. I mean, that. It just shows you how gullible some people are and I think we want to be gullible because we want to believe the best in people and everything, that they're still good in the world. But if you see something like that happen, it's like, man, now the next time, if there's a legitimate GoFundMe type of an event, something like that, folks be like, hell no, I'm not gonna give money to that because what happened the last time. You know what I mean? So I do get it that you got to be kind of on the up and up when it comes to these types of things. Cause folks, even though they might give a little money or whatever, right? But once you tally that shit up, that's a lot of loot. Because I think they got like over $400,000 in this scam or whatever. And now folks going to jail. Anyways,
Yep.
like I said, I'm way off base here. Anyways, steering it back. We're rounding first, heading second. All right. Like I said, Band Aid was back in 1984, November of 1984, and these British and Irish groups got together at the behest of Bob Geldof. And looking through the list of performers and everything, it was nowhere near as expansive as the USA for Africa or USA for Haiti events or whatever. But that once again, that shows you how excessive, how extra the Americans are when it comes to doing something. When they do it, damn it, they try to do it up big. But anyways, same as we did previously, we're gonna just go through the list of vocalists and just kind of give our thoughts on each person, whether or not that person belonged to be there, and we'll give them a score on a scale of 1 to 10. So, you ready?
Yep.
Alright. Okay. Now, the list that I have is not in sequence as far as who sang first or whatever. Just I think it's alphabetical, or maybe. Anyways, first of all, Robert Cool Bell from Kool and the Gang. First of all, I didn't realize Kool and the Gang was even there, and I'm like, they're American. What the hell are they doing in London? So I guess they may have been on tour or something, and they're just the most unlikely of groups or people to be involved in this event. But Robert Cool Bell, the leader of Kool and the Gang, was there. Kool and the Gang's been around. I don't know if they're still together now. I think they're still together. I think they're still together, do gigs and that kind of stuff, whatever. But it was R&B. They started out as a jazz group, then they turned into an R&B group, and they have a varied, iconic list of songs. I think one of the most famous songs is Jungle Boogie. Also, Celebrate, Ladies Night, and a lot of other songs, whatever. And by the way, one of the most inane and stupidest songs and songs that I really hate is Celebrate. I despise Celebrate. I just despise that song. But did he deserve to be there? I'm going to say no. I'm going to give him a 2 on a scale of 1 to 10 because he's an American act. I don't know how big Kool and the Gang was in England or whatever. He may have been big or whatever, but Kool, he was never a front man anyway. Even though the Kool and the Gang is named after him, he wasn't the lead singer or anything. He was just part of the band. So I'm gonna give him a 2.
Well, Kool and the Gang were a big group. They have a lot of hits. Celebrate is a song that you do not like, and I'm not really a big fan of either. But it was a big hit, wasn't it? I do believe that his inclusion in this song was for a purpose, and that was to get the people who like that band, right? Because I don't think there are that many black people even involved in this song, and I think it was very important to have this guy on here. So, I'll give him a 7.
Okay, well I got beef with Kool and the Gang anyway, and my beef is, okay, like for example, you got Huey Lewis and the News. Okay, Huey Lewis is the front man, and he's the lead singer. Now, how you have a band named after you and you really don't do shit? I mean, think about it. I mean, you ever seen? Do you even know what Cool Bell looks like?
I don't know what any of those guys look like.
Okay. Well, like I said, Cool, he wasn't the lead singer or whatever. I think he played bass or whatever. I mean, but it's Kool and the Gang, but he really didn't have any type of persona. I mean, so if your name's going to lead the band, then damn it, you need to be the lead guy, like Huey Lewis or whatever. So anyway, so I take another point off for that. So he gets 1 for me.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm keeping it real. Next up is Bono from U2. Obviously, everybody knows Bono, the lead singer of U2. He's obviously U2 is one of the greatest rock bands ever. Starting out in their career, I really, really liked them early on in their career. Not so much now because, I guess, once their fame got to a certain level, they really became really arrogant and self-important, And whereas they started off as this Irish band who was all about, freedom and social causes and everything, and their records really kind of reflected that, their I guess their worldview and their sensitivity to certain things. and their album War is a great album. It's just a tremendous record from the early '80s. So and Sunday Bloody Sunday is one of my perfect personal favorite songs. So I'm a huge fan of U2. So Bono gets a 10.
Yeah. Today he's known very much for his activism. And U2, the band, have always been known for that type of thing too, from their earliest beginnings. And they've always seemed very sincere. I don't know about self-important and arrogant. I don't know about that. I know that they were a fantastic band, and I think they fell off, around the mid '90s. So I'm not really as big of a fan of them as I used to be. But I certainly do respect them, and I respect Bono, and I respect everything that they try to do when it comes to activism. So to be on this song for the cause that they were on for, absolutely, he gets a 10.
Absolutely. All right, next up is here we go. Pete Briquette. Pete Briquette. Pete Briquette.
Choco Briquettes.
Yeah, Choco Briquette. Pete Briquette of the Boomtown Rats. Obviously, it's Bob Geldof's band, so naturally his band would be there. But Pete Briquette, this is probably the only time anyone ever is going to mention his name on any podcast ever. So Pete Briquette, he gets a minus 500, man. He gets the Joey Cola and who Mario Cipollino Award for the most worthless person in a band. So Pete Briquette gets minus 500.
Well, I'm going to give him the same benefit of the doubt that I gave all of the News, because they were on the song with their band leader. So Charcoal Briquette here, he I don't know anything about him, and I don't really know anything about the Boomtown Rats. So I can't honestly say he didn't deserve to be there, but as part of the man who started the thing, so as part of the band of the man who started the thing, yes, he deserved to be there. I give him a 5.
Hell no, he deserved to be there. Once again, a situation where Bob would be like, hey, dude, y'all guys take the night off or whatever. I got some shit I got to do. I'll catch y'all in the morning. We got rehearsal at 9. You know what I mean?
So why would you do that? Why
because.
Would you do that, though? Why would you do that?
Because.
Why would you be like, I'm going to do this thing by myself. I have this band. We do everything together. A band is like a brotherhood or a marriage, and we do these things together. But today, I'm doing this by myself, and I don't care about you. And if it becomes a big hit, I don't care about you. Therefore, you're not going to be on my big project here. So F off. Now, why would you do that? I don't know why you would do that. I think he deserved to be there for that reason.
No, okay, now he gets a minus 1,000, and since you're trying to champion his cause, okay, if that was the case, then why weren't they involved in USA for Africa? Geldof was there too. If they rode, they like ride or die with him on Band-Aid, why weren't they there for USA for Africa? If that was so important, it's such a goddamn brotherhood.
That wasn't his project.
It was his project. What you talking about? He started the whole motherfucking thing. What the heck you talking about? It's not his project, motherfucker. He was there. He the one. No, he's the one who said Prince was a jerk for not being there. He was there. He's the one who got.
He wasn't the one who said, "Hey, guess what? We need to do this."
No, he the one that lit the fucking match though. He was there. He spoke to everybody before they even got started. Okay. He was in the chorus.
Said, yo, bring your whole band. You think he said that?
No, but what I'm saying is he could have been like, yo, Quincy, this is Bob Geldof. I start this whole shit. My band, they're my brotherhood, my Boomtown Rats. They're gonna be here too. And you don't like it, you check your motherfucking ego at the door. Nah, hell nah.
Quincy would have said, okay.
Apparently not, because they weren't there. What? They couldn't get a flight.
What I mean is, he said, I'm not going to come without my band. Quincy would have said, okay, and then they would have done their own thing.
That's what I'm saying. So I guess it wasn't the brotherhood that you claim it. They claim it that it was, because Bob made sure he got there.
Hey, I don't know anything about the band. I'm not saying that they definitely ride together all the time. But I'm saying, why would you do that? Why would you intentionally leave people out when you're doing something? Like, if this is your band, why would you not have your band who could possibly help you play this song when you're doing something big like this? Why would you do that? I understand that you know, if you're working with somebody else, they may have parameters that don't include the other people. But if you're doing your own thing and you actually have a band, why would you say, hey, band, I don't care what you want to do? That's where I'm going to get rich and famous, and you're going to be stuck in the dust. And I'm going to say, hey, you are a part of this. This is mine. Go do your own charity thing.
Well, that's basically what happened, because if you say the name Bob Geldof, you know exactly who he is. You say the name Pete Briquette, or you think about charcoal. Enough said.
Well, okay, I'll give him a 5.
All right. Okay, testy, aren't we? Okay, next up is Adam Clayton from U2. I think he was the lead guitarist or the bassist for the group, I believe. I think Edge is the lead guitarist. I think Adam Clayton played the bass for U2. I'm going to give Adam Clayton a 1 because he really didn't need to be there either, because Bono is the guy when it comes to U2. The Edge a little bit. He has a bit of a name or whatever. But Adam Clayton, nobody gives a damn about Adam Clayton. He could have had the night off as well, so he gets a 1.
Huh. Okay. Question. What does Bono do in U2?
He writes the songs. He plays guitar. I mean, he's the lead singer. He's the front man. He's the first person you think of when you hear the name U2. That is the face that you see. He does a lot, because trust me, if Bono did not exist, U2 would not exist. It's his band. So it's U2 featuring Bono. Damn it! I mean, if anything.
That's not really true, because when you're a band starting out, nobody has a name. You're just a band, right? So right now, you can say without Bono, U2 is not U2. But back when they started in the 70s, you couldn't really say that. So I asked the question, what does Bono do? Because U2 are a band, and people like that full band. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say, oh, the band U2, they are not important. Bono is the man. I think everybody in that band has a lot of respect. Therefore, Adam Clayton being a very important part of U2. If Bob Geldof said, hey, bring U2 to play on this song, that's a big deal. They weren't, the entire band wasn't on this song. But, if Bono was like, I'm bringing Adam, I'm sure he wasn't like, no, leave Adam where he is. I don't think that happened. Adam Clayton gets a 5 from me.
Do you know who Mick Jagger is?
Yeah.
Do you know who Keith Richards is?
Yep.
Can you name another member of the Rolling Stones right now?
Nope.
Thank you. So whenever there's something that's going on or whatever, like with the Rolling Stones or whatever, some sort of event or whatever, you'll see 2 people, Keith Richards and Mick Jagger. Aerosmith, you'll see Joe Perry and Steven Tyler. But you don't know who the rest of those dudes are. I mean, you can look at any band or whatever. It's always gonna be 1, 2 people max that really identify with the band. The rest of them are basically interchangeable parts. I mean, they're fodder.
Because I believe everybody knows Bono. Everybody knows Adam Clayton. Everybody knows The Edge. Everybody knows Larry Mullen Jr. Everybody knows freaking U2. It's different from the Rolling Stones. Those 4 people are the band. Everybody knows them. They are an important unit together. They're not separate people. I think more people, this is kind of going far, but you know what? I like The Edge a lot. I know The Edge more than I knew Bono back in the day.
I like Edge too, but what I'm saying is the 2 people from U2 that people that people know are U2 and Edge. The rest of them, they don't really know them.
People know Adam Clayton and Larry Mullen Jr.
If Adam Clayton walked into Target right now, nobody would know who he was. But if Bono or the Edge walk into Target right now, they're gonna know who he is.
If the Edge walked into the Target, would they know who he was?
Yes. More people know than Adam Clayton.
Captain glasses. If he didn't wear cap and glasses, people know who he was.
I believe so. Yes, I would. I would.
Okay.
I mean, okay, who's the lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins?
I mean, obviously, Billy Corgan.
Okay, who plays bass? Okay, now ask the layperson.
Everybody knows everybody in Smashing Pumpkins.
No, No, if Billy Corgan walked into Target right now, everybody would know who it is. But if the drummer walks in right now, won't nobody know.
If walked into Target, everybody would know that's Jimmy Chamberlain. If
No.
James Ehart walked into Target, everybody knows that's James Ehart.
No.
If Darcy freaking Retzky walked into Target, well, they probably would know now 'cause she's got plastic surgery. But back in the day, they would have known that's Darcy Retzky.
Okay, so what if she walked in? What if Okay, what if they walked into Kroger,
Kroger's a different story.
Dollar General,
Nobody would know them at all.
Dollar Tree?
People would be like, smashing what?
But I'm pretty sure if Bono walked in the Dollar Tree, or Billy Corgan walked in the Dollar Tree, somebody's gonna know him.
Nah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think so.
I guess, but you know why people would know Bono if he walked into Target?
Why? Who?
Because he's had a partnership with them financially. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But like I said, you know, every band has a front person, and usually, you know, guy, you know, 3 through 5, you know, is just some interchangeable dude that nobody really knows. I mean, there are some exceptions to the rule, yes, of course, like with like the Revolution or whatever. You know, everybody knew Lisa and Wendy and Brown Mark and Bobby Z and Doc Fink because they all kind of, you know, had personalities within the group, plus had the movie and everything. So there are some bands where everybody's kind of known, but more often than not, you know, most bands, you know, Wu-Tang is a perfect example. You know, everybody knows who's in Wu-Tang. You know what I mean? You know, but at the same time, when you hear Wu-Tang, you hear the words Wu-Tang, there's one person that probably pops into your mind first, and that's Meth. You know what I mean? That's just the way it is. You know? NODB. But I'm sure you hear the words Wu-Tang, the first image you see in your mind 9 times out of 10 is going to be Meth. Now, Inspector Deck is my favorite. So when I hear Wu-Tang, you know what I mean? Even though Deck is my favorite, but when I hear Wu-Tang, Meth is the first person that pops into my head. That's just the way it is, man. I'm sorry, okay?
Okay, but well, when I think of Wu-Tang, actually RZA pops into my mind. But I know how I know what you're saying. But what you're saying is this, basically. If there was some kind of hip-hop charity song, you know, for Africa right now, and you had RZA on there, no, you had Method Man on there, would you say that nobody else in Wu-Tang deserved to be on that track?
Yeah, I would. And let me quantify this, okay? Okay? Because, once again, like I said, you know, say they're doing this charity single with, you know, hip-hop artists or whatever, and it's okay, Wu-Tang, the first person they're going to think about, they're going to call, or maybe one on the track, is going to be Meth. They're not going to want Capadonna, you know what I mean, or You God, you know what I mean? Even though these guys are integral parts of Wu-Tang, they're not the folks who jump out at you when you hear Wu-Tang.
Yeah, but you don't think people be like, oh, we need Ghostface, oh, we need RZA, oh, we need Raekwon.
No, they won't be the first choice. That's what I'm saying. If it's a situation where
more popular than Method Man right now.
If it's a situation, I guess what I'm saying is if it's a situation where, say for example, if you can only take one person from each group and put them on this charity single, and it's Wu-Tang, I'm pretty sure if there's like a panel of 10 people who had to vote on which person gets the invite, I'd say Meth would win in that vote just because of his recognition.
I think in this day and age, it's probably Ghostface.
Oh, no.
I think it's Ghostface.
No.
He's more popular right now. He's actually had the more successful career as a solo artist.
No.
So,
maybe as a solo artist, maybe. But as far as fame goes, it's not even a comparison. Meth is one doing the movies and the TV shows, and he's hosting his own TV show and everything. When you hear Wu-Tang, Wu-Tang is synonymous with Method Man. It just is. Okay, and ODB's dead, so we can't even consider him no more. But of the living Wu-Tang members, the one that is to the lay person, okay, who just knows just a little bit about music or a little bit about hip hop, you hear Wu-Tang, the first person that person is gonna think about, I guarantee you, is gonna be Meth and not Capadonna, You God, or Face.
Well, I didn't say that. Ghostface, I think maybe, but No, not You Got a Capadonna. What?
Or even
You know,
Deck.
most people
Or
say,
even Deck for that matter. Even RZA.
obviously, most people don't
Or
know Deck.
Jizza. Huh?
Of course not.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But Deck,
Right?
to me, Deck is the greatest hip hop artist of all time. He's my
Okay.
favorite rapper of all time.
That's
So
not
if
your
so,
vote.
if I had to choose, if I'm on this panel and I had a vote on Wu Tang, which member to invite, I'm gonna say Deck. I'm not gonna win that vote, but my vote is gonna be for Deck. But I know the
Okay.
other 9 folks are gonna say Meth.
Okay. Well,
You know what?
all right.
This is interesting discussion, and I think our next podcast, our next show, should be if we were to put together a hip hop charity single, who would we invite? So
I would say nobody, but okay.
so we gonna sidebar this man. We gonna revisit this motherfucker. This is gonna be a lively conversation. I can tell. Yes.
All right.
All right. Wow.
Adam Clayton gets a 5.
Okay, he gets a -1,000 from me. So let's move on. Next up is Phil Collins of Genesis, and of course, Phil Collins is an iconic singer. He has one of the greatest pop rock songs of all time, "In the Air Tonight." He was a great solo artist. Now, obviously, Genesis was a great band as well. He played drums also during this for this single, and of course, he deserved to be there. He gets a 10. And I'm interested in finding out whether or not anybody else from Genesis were there. So I guess as we go down the list, we'll figure it out. So, but starting out, Phil Collins gets a 10.
Phil Collins is a name that's almost synonymous with the 80s. So, 10.
Right on. Okay, next up is Christopher Cross, or Chris Cross, and not the hip hop group. Jump, not Daddy Mac and Mac Daddy. Chris Cross. He's from a band called Ultravox. Okay, I was thinking about Christopher Cross, the folk singer from America, but no, it's Chris Cross from Ultravox, a band I never heard of before. Obviously, they're probably a British or Irish band that never made it into the States. I never heard of Chris Cross before. He's never done anything other than maybe have his name synonymous with a 90s rap group of two young kids. So Chris Cross gets a -1,000. God, no, I don't know who the hell he is.
I don't know who Chris Cross is either, but I do know the band Ultravox, and they're not bad. I don't know about their popularity or anything like that, but I will say that this band Ultravox was actually instrumental to putting this song together, because Midge Ure, who's actually a member of Ultravox, was also instrumental. He was like the second lead guy to put the song together. So I am a big proponent of letting your band be a part of your big project. Therefore, Chris Cross gets a 5.
Okay, you know Ultravox, but you don't know Chris Cross, but you're giving him a 5. Okay, that makes a whole lot of sense. Okay.
Yeah, because he's part of the band. The band of the man who put the thing together.
Okay, yeah, okay. So Chris Cross from some shitty band. Okay. All right. They never did anything. All right. Next up, we got Simon Crow. Simon Crow from the Boomtown Rats. And you already know how I feel about this. So Simon Crow gets a -1,000 as well. So now his brother Russell Crowe.
My man Simon Crow from the Boomtown Rats. He's awesome. Oh wow, he's so amazing. He is, he's in the band. I'm giving him a 5.
Man, you tripping. All right, next up is Sarah Dolan. Sarah Dolan, she's from the group Bananarama. Bananarama was a girls group that had a couple hit songs back in the 80s. Their most notable single was Venus. I'm your Venus. I'm your fire, your desire. That was a hit song for them. I think number one in the States. So I'm gonna say that Bananarama. Also, they had a great song from the Karate Kid, if you can remember, "Cruel Summer," if you remember that one. So that was a great song. So Sarah Dolan from Bananarama, I'm gonna go ahead and give her a 5 since they were hot at the time.
Yeah. Bananarama. Rama. I like both of those songs, especially Cruel Summer. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and it totally fit the movie too. It was a great choice for a movie song. So.
Yeah. I'm going to give her a 7.
Right on. Next up is Siobhan Fahey from Bananarama. So I'm going to give her a 5 as well.
The name is Siobhan.
Okay. Bill from Bananarama. Bill.
William Fahey from, no, Siobhan. Her name is Siobhan.
Okay.
Siobhan. Bananarama. 7.
Well, her mama call her Siobhan. I'm going to call her Siobhan. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's a government name. All right. Next up. Next up is Johnny Fingers. Johnny Fingers from the Boomtown Rats. Okay, Johnny Fingers gets a 10 because with a name like Johnny Fingers, just for the comedy factor, he gets a 10.
Fun fact, Inspector Deck's, one of his nicknames is Raleigh Fingers.
Really?
Yes.
The Major League pitcher, Raleigh Fingers?
Huh?
Raleigh Fingers was a Major League Baseball pitcher. So.
Oh, yeah. I think I knew that at some point.
Yeah.
But Raleigh Fingers means Inspector Deck to me now. So Johnny Fingers, pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
I give him a 5.
You know, that makes me think, man. Like famous people whose real name would be a great rap name. I'm still waiting for the day that there's a rapper somebody who steps up, a rapper that steps up and hits the game, and he chooses the name Mike Ditka. Because I think that if I were to start a hip hop career today, I would choose the name Mike Ditka. I think that's it. That is just an awesome hip hop name.
The problem with that is that Mike Ditka is still alive.
I know.
So if you try to do that, he would cease and desist.
Well, maybe, you got to spell it differently, I think, or pronounce it just a little bit different, instead of Ditka, maybe Dick, A or something, so make it something, Myke or something, make it something just a little bit different where it's pronounced the same, but it's not the same person. I think there's ways around that, like Nipsey Hussle or whatever, But,
but see, Hustle is not Russell. So I think there's no way you can get away with that with Mike Ditka still being alive. Like, I've said this before. I wanted to do rap name Dustin Hoffman.
That'd be great too.
Hoffman.
Yeah.
He's still alive. I can't do that. What I could do, and this came to my mind recently, is a fictional character, Roger Thorpe. Do you know who that is?
Roger Thorpe. Sounds familiar. Who was Roger Thorpe?
He was the big villain from Guiding Light back in the
day. Yeah, that's right. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Roger Thorpe is the name that I will use today.
Oh,
and
hell
that's
yeah.
fine because, he's not a real guy. So you can get away with it, right? With names of people, but
I'm sure that character name is copyrighted by owned by CBS or whoever was that produced that show, so you might get a little kickback on that.
Yeah.
But you never know. I would try it if nothing else. I mean, if Mike Jones can get away with it, anybody can. So. Right. Mike Jones.
Mike Jones.
Another great one is character name would be what was his name? Good Lord, now it just Jack Napier. That's a great hip hop name.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure somebody's taking it. I can't imagine there's not a rapper named Jack Napier right now. I can't imagine that no one would not take that goal.
There actually was a guy out of Seattle called himself Jack Napier, and actually he used to I used to see him on hip hop boards a lot, dropping verses or whatever. I actually did a couple collabs with him. So yeah, he called himself Jack Napier. He was really good. I don't think he ever got a record deal, but he was really good. So yeah, he did take a stab at it, but I think that name's out there for the taking. And yeah, if you're a hip hop artist, if you choose the name Jack Napier, you better be sinister as hell. But yeah, that's a great name, and you better make it work. But yeah, there's a lot of character names out there that would make great hip hop names, and I'm a little bit too old to be doing this now. But if I were a little bit younger, getting into the hip hop game, yeah, I would definitely call myself either Jack Napier or Mike Ditka.
The rap game Mike Ditka.
For sure.
Say that.
Yeah, and then the real Mike Ditka put a hit on me. So. Say my name. All right, back on track. The next on the list is Bob Geldof. Okay, I guess Bob got to get a 10 because hey, you know, he did put everything together and everything. But once again, I guess I've said enough about my thoughts about him personally, so I'll leave it alone. Bob Geldof gets a 10. So Bob, there you go. You happy now, Bob?
Yeah, no song about Bob. So 10.
That might be a good hip hop name too, Bob Geldof.
No, it would not.
Shit, they call me Bob, nigga. What do you call you? They call me Bob, nigga.
It's like, what? Bob Geldof is rapping now? No, I don't think so.
Bob G.D. Nigga. Yeah, not to offend anyone with the N-word, but hey, the N-word is like the greatest thing ever to happen to hip-hop is the N-word, okay? So, that and motherfucker. So, those two words. Yeah. You can't be a hip-hop artist and without using those two to some effect.
I don't agree so much. MF, yeah, that's pretty big, but you don't have to say the N-word, I think.
Oh, tell DMX that.
Who don't do it.
Tell DMX that. And try to get away alive.
There's some people who have to do it. There's some people, yeah. If DMX decided not to, I'd be like, what's wrong with you? But I think I really respect people who don't do it, who don't use that word. I really do. In fact, I respect rappers who don't curse.
I don't.
I think I do. I think if you can, because I always talk about Jizza a lot, but he took a stab at it at one point. I'd be the insane rhyme kicker with no parental sticker, advising y'all that wise words is much slicker. I screwed that up, but he said that. So anyway, I thought that was really cool that he actually tried at some point to not curse on his tracks. And I think right now he doesn't really curse that much, which is cool. I think if you can actually use quote-unquote smarter words to get your point across, I think that is a good skill.
I don't agree. I think to be an effective hip-hop artist with any longevity, you gotta curse.
I think as far as like the visceral nature of it, to get like a certain energy and a certain emotion across, you kind of have to.
Yes, of course.
But you don't really have to. If what you're talking about is a certain thing, if you're talking about a feeling, you don't really have to do that. I mean, depending on what that feeling is, okay. But, if you're talking about cops killing blacks, you might need to. But if you're talking about, like, how you feel, not making money or something like, you're poor. Or how about, maybe that's not good. If you're imploring, like, young black youths to get off the street, you don't have to curse. If that's kind of your MO, if that's your thing that you're trying to get across, you don't really have to. If you're trying to be smart and bring knowledge to your songs like Jizza does these days, you don't have to curse. But if you're like Ice Cube, you're decrying, black people getting shot every day, you might need to. I think it's a slippery slope. It depends on what that person's doing. But I respect either, actually.
Well, I disagree, and as someone who is a former hip-hop artist, and I've actually performed live, obviously, in front of large crowds and everything, a well-placed N-word or a well-placed MF goes a long way. Trust me on that.
I mean, I agree. I do agree. I'm not saying that hey, rappers, stop using these words today. I'm not saying that. But, especially MF, wow. I mean, there's a lot of energy in that. But I don't think it's absolutely necessary all the time.
I disagree. Okay.
Okay.
Motherfucker. I got you open, motherfucker. Okay. All right, next up is Boy George of Culture Club. Boy George, Culture Club, obviously he's synonymous with the 80s, and Culture Club was so huge back then, he had to be a part of it. You really couldn't even do this single as a British single or whatever, not have him included. So yeah, he definitely gets a 10. Now, a bit of trivia when it comes to Culture Club. They were actually on tour in America when they recorded the song. So Bob Geldof actually flew Boy back in on the Concorde just for this event. So Boy came by himself and left everybody else back. So that's how you do it. Boy George, I gotta go do this. I'll be back tomorrow. I got this. Y'all take the day off. We got rehearsal tomorrow morning at 10. I'll be back. That's the way Huey Lewis should have done it. That's the way Bono should have done it. That's the way Bob Geldof should have done it. Instead of Cool Bell, everybody should have done it instead of bringing the whole fucking family. If somebody invites you over for dinner, they say, hey, why don't you come over for dinner? You don't bring the whole family. You come, you eat your dinner. Okay? If they say, hey, I want you and the family to come to dinner, I get it. But if somebody invites you to dinner, you know, you don't bring the whole family because they hungry too. No. So, Boy George, just for that, he gets a 15 for doing it the right way. And, oh, by the way, I heard a song by Boy George recently called The King of Everything. A great song. Love the song. So, if you get a chance, listen to King of Everything by Boy George. Look it up. His voice sounds so much different than it did back. Obviously, he did a lot of hard drugs and everything, so he's got a lot of miles on him in more ways than one. He got a lot of miles on him. Woo! Boy George got a lot of miles. Anyways, but King of Everything, you ever get a chance to listen to it, check it out. It's a great song. So Boy George gets a 15 from me.
Okay, yeah, so you kind of said it. I wonder if anybody else from Culture Club is on this song, though, while you're giving them props for that. So, yeah, I'll give him a 10.
No one else from Culture Club is on this because, I take that back. I think somebody else did come. But anyways, right. I'll make sure.
That's how you do it.
I'll make sure first before I
bring your daddy to lunch.
Okay, before I plant my flag on that, I'll make sure, okay? All right, next up is Glenn Gregory from Heaven 17. I don't know who Glenn Gregory is. I don't know who Heaven 17 is. I don't want to know who Heaven 17 is. I don't want to know who Glenn Gregory is. Minus 1,000.
I don't know who he is or what the band is either. I really don't. You know, I like to say, oh, I know this group, but I don't. And I can't really speculate on their popularity or how important they were at the time. Well, I guess I'll give them a 1.
Okay, now you finally come away to my side of things. Okay. Next up is Tony Hadley from Spandau Ballet. Now, Spandau Ballet has one of the most iconic songs of the 80s, True. So that's the only song they ever had that was a major hit in the United States. I don't know who Tony Hadley is. I don't know if he was the lead singer or not. And since I don't know who the lead singer is of Spandau Ballet, he gets a 1.
Spandau Ballet are a big deal in their home country of the UK. To this day, they are a big deal, and I like True a lot as well. One of my favorite songs, but also like their song Gold. I really like that. I don't know Tony Hadley in particular, but I like Spandau Ballet, and I think being a big group of the 80s, I would give him a 7.
Like I said, he gets a 1 because I don't know who the lead singer of Spandau Ballet is. So that means that whoever the lead singer of Spandau Ballet was didn't have enough charisma to set himself apart from the rest of the group. So fuck him. Next up is John Keeble, also of Spandau Ballet. So he gets a 1 as well, since he didn't stand out at either. So
I have a feeling we don't know the names of the people from Spandau Ballet. Therefore, John Keeble gets a 7.
We didn't know the names of the guys from Huey Lewis and the News either. So Joey Cola didn't get a 7. So why is and Huey Lewis and the News were a whole lot bigger than Spandau Ballet ever were. So how is John Keeble going to get a better score than Joey Cola?
Because Spandau Ballet is a much better band than Huey Lewis and the News. So that's why I'm giving them that.
They're better than Huey Lewis and the News?
I think so. I thought the News are freaking annoying. I do not like them. I do like Spandau Ballet to some extent.
Man, you must be drunk.
I'm
Okay.
quite drunk.
Whatever it is, man, lay off of it, okay? Because it's fucking with your brain.
I'm going through something. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna quote a meme. A nigga going through a lot right now.
All right, man. So you get a pass. Barely. All right. Next up is Gary Kemp, Spandau Ballet. Now Gary Kemp. Okay. Next up is Martin Kemp. So Gary and Martin Kemp are. I did not know they were part of Spandau Ballet, but I do know who Gary and Martin Kemp are. They're actors also. They're twins, and they played the Krays. There was a movie from the late 80s, early 90s called The Krays about these murderous twin gangsters. And I think either Gary or Martin also had a featured role in the movie with Kevin Costner and Whitney Houston. What was that? The Bodyguard. So they've had some acting success as well. And since I do know who they are, even though they're with Spandau Ballet, I give them each a 5.
Hey, I don't know who they are. I don't know them as actors. I don't know them. I'm giving them 3s because I don't know them.
Man, you full of shit.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Next up is Simon Le Bon of Duran Duran. Of course, Simon Le Bon, the lead singer. Now, that's how you do it as a lead singer. Okay, Spandau Ballet. Okay, because Simon Le Bon, they had the charisma, had the look, had everything, as far as that you need in a front man of a great 80s group. And Duran Duran is probably my favorite 80s group, like British group of all time. Like 80s rock band or whatever is Duran Duran. I love, to this day, I still listen to Duran Duran. Especially back in the 80s, early 80s, I loved them. They had a lot of great songs. So Simon Le Bon definitely deserved to be there. He gets a 10.
Yeah, he gets a 10 because Duran Duran are awesome.
Yes, one of the greatest British groups ever. Next up is Marilyn. No last name, just Marilyn. And Marilyn, who the fuck is you? Minus 1,000. I have nothing to say because I have no idea who Marilyn is. It's just Marilyn.
Yeah, I think it's quite weird that somebody named Marilyn is on here, and we don't. I mean, that's such a weird name, like a nondescript name, Marilyn. And we're supposed to know who this is because I don't know who it is, and I can't even guess. Is this a singer, an actor, or a model? What is this? I'll give him negative 6,000.
Like, somebody knock on the door. Who's knocking on the door? Who is it? John. John who? John. Is Alonzo there? Who's asking? John. Hey, Alonzo. Yeah. John's at the door. John who? John. Should I let him in? Hell no. You better call Marilyn.
Yeah, call Marilyn. Marilyn will know.
Yeah, exactly.
Betty.
You call Marilyn. Marilyn, should I let John in? Marilyn, like, hell no, she let that motherfucker in. Shit.
I don't know who that is. Who is that?
That nigga crazy.
Yeah.
All right, next up is George Michael from Wham. George Michael has 2 first names, but he's one of the greatest singers of all time. I'm a huge George Michael fan. I didn't like him when he was with Wham because I thought Wham was really cheesy. But when he broke out as a solo artist, my respect for him grew exponentially to the point where he became one of my favorite singers of all time. Huge fan of George Michael. His album Older, I did a review of that. It's on my channel. Check it out. Absolutely one of my favorite albums of all time, period. Just a huge George Michael fan. Rest in peace. George Michael, he gets a 10.
George Michael, big name from the 80s. Because of that, I give him a 10.
Right on. Next up is John Moss of Culture Club. Damn.
What? His brother came to dinner?
Okay, now, just for clarity's sake, for context, John Moss is the guy in the group that Boy George was fucking. So he probably brought him over because they probably like had sex on the plane and all that kind of stuff on the way over there. So he probably brought him there because he wanted to get a little ooh la la, So that's the reason why John Moss is there. So John Moss gets a 10 for accompanying his lover, and being supportive of him and being that that support for him, during this time. So John Moss gets a 10.
Yeah, that's pretty important, isn't it? Is that really true that they were together?
Yes, they were lovers. Yes.
Okay, well then, I give him a 10.
Right on. Okay, next up is Steve Norman of Spandau Ballet. 1.
Spandau Ballet, the whole band were on this track. How
Yes.
respectable. I'll give him a 7.
Whatever, man. Next up is Rick Parfitt of Status Quo. No idea who Rick Parfitt is from Status Quo, but it makes me want to have a peanut buster parfait. Rick Parfitt, Status Quo, 0.
I don't know Status Quo. I don't know Rick Parfitt. I do know Peanut Buster Parfaits.
Peanut Buster, not peanut butter. Peanut Buster.
That's what I said. I said Buster. Buster is what I said.
All right, Ryan.
I was going in some direction with that. Who cares? 1.
Right on, man. Right on. Okay, next up, Nick Rhodes from Duran Duran. Obviously, see, Duran Duran was one of those groups where everybody from the group. They were pretty much they were pretty much synonymous with each other and everything.
Like you too?
Yeah, shut up. So
I like Spandau Ballet.
so Nick Rhodes of Duran Duran gets a 10.
Yep, I give him a 10 too, because you want to bring your big hit band to be on this track. So that's what happened. Nick Rhodes, you get a 10, boy.
Yeah, but Duran Duran was a whole lot bigger than Spandau Ballet was. Okay. They were bigger than U2 at the time as well. So.
Yep.
Next up is Francis Rossi of Status Quo. Don't know who Status Quo is, like I said. I have no idea who Francis Rossi is, but I do know who Mario Cipollina is. So Francis Rossi gets a 0.
Wow. Well, I'll give him a 0 too.
Right on, we agree. Next up is Sting from the Police. Now Sting, obviously, he's a rock pop legend of the highest order. He's one of those people where you just hear the word Sting, you know exactly who we're talking about. So he definitely deserves to be there. The Police, one of the greatest bands of that era. Just a string of great songs, and so Sting definitely gets a 10. I wonder if anybody else from the Police showed up. I'm sure he was like, boys, I got something to do. I'll catch y'all later. Take the day off. So Sting, he gets a 15 for that.
Yeah, so we know Sting is a highly arrogant man. He hates everybody, and he hates everybody in that band. So he told them, yeah, you stay, don't you come close to me at all.
Well, the song was, don't stand so close to me. So he was just, he's staying true to his lyrics.
Also, is he arrogant? I don't know. I made that up. Yeah. So my man Gordon Sumner, very, very important. Big man in the 80s, big man now. Well, maybe not so much now, but people know him. He's now relegated to doing horrible reggae songs with Shaggy. But back in the day, he was the man, so I'll give him a 10.
You need to go there, but okay.
I had to. You praised him too much.
All right, next up is Andy Taylor from Duran Duran. Andy was the lead guitarist of Duran Duran. Obviously, you had John Taylor, Nick Rhodes, Andy Taylor, and Simon Le Bon of Duran Duran. So he definitely deserved to be there. So he gets a 10.
Yeah, I'm glad that we got band love going on here. I give him a 10.
And also, just for context, Andy Taylor also was part of the group Power Station. So he was the lead guitarist for Power Station as well. That was one of the side groups.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And Andy Taylor was also the sheriff of Mayberry.
Yeah, stop.
Andy.
You know, Andy Taylor, man. I mean, how you gonna have a girlfriend as fine as Miss Crump and never hit it? I just never understood
How do
that.
you know he didn't know? I mean, it was a TV show. You know?
I mean, they would never. You rarely even saw them. You know, I think one time he kissed her on the cheek. He never got kissed her or anything. I mean, they never got busy. I mean,
That was a very wholesome show. I bet if you know, the Andy Griffith show were done in, 2006, they'd be all over the screen. It'd be softcore porno. So, I don't think I don't think that was the kind of thing they wanted to portray back there. That's why people think that Mayberry is a real thing. I mean, the place is, I guess, but not really. But people think, oh yeah, that was a much kinder, gentler time. That was an ideal we need to go back to. We need to make America great again, back like it was in Mayberry. So yeah, it was just an ideal. I guarantee you, in real life, that wouldn't happen.
so you don't think he was smashing Miss Crump?
He was off screen because, if you want to say this is a real, if we want to say that the TV show was a microcosm of something that was happening in real life, oh, he definitely was.
Yeah, the back of that squad car too.
Yeah.
With his fishing gear.
Yeah. I always liked Thelma Lou, but yeah, Helen was pretty hot.
Yeah, Thelma Lou left and got married and came back. And Barney Barney tried to get back with her. She's like, nah, fuck this. Yeah, you took way too much time getting up in this. So I had to go find somebody else at Mount. She had to go to Mount Pilot to find somebody.
Mount Pilot. They always went to Mount Pilot.
Exactly. Shit. So
over there burning the sacred calf up there.
really?
Oh, that's what I think about. I think about a place of sacrifice when I say Mount Pilot. That's what I always thought of.
Okay, man. All right, next up is John Taylor from Duran Duran. I already told you how I feel about John Taylor, so about Duran Duran, so he gets a 10.
Mm-hmm. Freaking band, man. Duran Duran was like the backing band of the song. It's amazing. I'm giving them a 10.
Whatever, man. All right, next up, Roger Taylor from Duran Duran. 10. Damn it.
Yep, he gets a 10.
All right, next up is, I missed somebody. James J.T. Taylor of Kool and the Gang. Now, he was the front man for Kool and the Gang, the lead singer. So if anybody deserved to be there, J.T. deserved to be there. So J.T. Taylor gets a 2.
2? Wow. We're over there Hollywood swinging with Kool and the Gang right now. You got the whole band there, basically. I don't know what I gave Bill. I think I gave him like a 5, so I'm going to give J.T. Jonathan Taylor Thomas. I'm going to give him a 5.
Next up is Dennis Thomas of Kool and the Gang. I have no idea who Dennis Thomas is from Kool and the Gang, so he gets a 0.
He is in Kool and the Gang. He gets a 5.
All right, next up is Midge Ure from Ultravox. Midge Ure from Ultravox, 0.
Okay, Midge Ure was the number 2 dude in putting this song together with Bob Geldof. So,
so it's a he? Okay, it's a he. Go ahead. All right, man.
Yes, Midge Ure was the second.
Ure?
It's
pronounced Ure? Ure?
Midge Ure.
Ure, okay.
Ure, like it looks. Ure. It's a man, and he was the number 2 guy in putting this song together. Without him and Bob, there would be no song. I give him a 10.
All right, whoever Ure is, fuck him. Next up is Martin Ware of Heaven 17. So, 0.
Yeah, unfortunately don't know who he or they are, so 1.
Right on. Next up, Jody Watley. Okay, Jody Watley, of course, she was huge at that time. From Shalimar, she had a lot of hits with Shalimar, the R&B group. Then she broke out on her own, became a huge international star as a solo artist. Had a lot of big hits back then, like "Looking for a New Love" and "Still a Thrill." And by the way, trivia: she was actually produced by Andre Simone, who obviously Prince contemporary, and they wanted to get married as well. So a little trivia there. Jody Watley. I think she should have been over here in the States doing USA for Africa, but she did do Band-Aid, so I give her a 9.
Yeah, Jodie Watley was a big deal. She had some good songs, and she's very pretty.
Yes.
I give her a 10.
Right on. Next up is Karen Woodward of Bananarama. Obviously, we talked about Bananarama. She gets a 7.
Yeah, the whole band, they're all there. Karen Woodward, you get a 7.
Right on. And finally, Paul Young. Now, Paul Young, he actually led the song off. He was huge at that time. Had a huge hit single, Every Time You Go Away, which was written by Daryl Hall, by the way. Paul has had a long career. He's had some hits in the States, 2 or 3 hits in the States, but he was huge in Britain. And I've always kind of had a fondness for his music. He does a lot of covers and everything, but he's respectful of soul music. He likes soul music a lot, so he does a lot of soul music covers. Actually had a hit with a soul cover of "Old Girl." So Paul, I'm gonna give him an 8.
I don't like Paul Young. I'm gonna give him a 3.
Why don't you like Paul Young, man? What did he ever do to you?
No, really, I don't have a problem with him. That song, Every Time You Go, I don't like that song. But I don't have a problem with him in particular. I would give him a 5.
It was a nice pop ballad, man. So that song, that song resonates, and it turns up on a lot of 80s hit lists or whatever, or compilations, that kind of stuff. So Paul Young, good on him. And that actually does it for Band-Aid. Do They Know It's Christmas? The song obviously was a huge hit, went to #1, and as we talked about before, it actually spawned USA for Africa and everything. So and I think we've talked about a little bit before that we think that this song is better than the We Are the World song, and I think I stand behind that. As far as the quality of song, is a better quality song and everything. And like I said, it did get started, this whole movement of stars coming together and doing things for causes that are a little bit bigger than themselves. So like I said, and Bob Geldof did put it together, even though he didn't deserve to be there with the rest of his band. So overall, man, I think most of the people that were there did not belong to be there, but the ones who did belong to be there did a great job. So kudos to everybody involved, and I'm glad that Jermaine Jackson wasn't there with all his grease.
Yeah, that would have been a problem. There's a version of the song. I don't know if it's the version that they play all the time, but I know I've heard it 1,000 times. It has recorded messages from some people. I remember Paul McCartney was on it, and they're just giving, hey, this is Paul McCartney, and this thing happened. They're not really part of the song, but they kind of are. Paul McCartney didn't deserve to be on it. How about that? He gets a 1.
Well, if you don't want to take time out, you want to send a message and not take time out to be a part of it, yeah, fuck him. 1.
Mm-hmm. 1.
So, if you're listening out there, what do you think? Who deserved to be there? Who didn't deserve to be there? Our debate from earlier, as far as the whole band being there, or the front person should be there. What are your thoughts on all this? Are we off base? Did our argument get a little bit too personal because I like certain bands and didn't like certain bands or whatever because of my fondness for Duran Duran? Was I being biased on that kind of stuff? I think I probably was, but hey, what can I say? It's my show, so fuck you. But comment below, let us know, hit us up on Twitter at What Lonzo Thinks. Obviously email whatlonzothinks@gmail.com. Subscribe, sign up for notifications. My subscriber list is growing. I want to get to at least 200 subscribers by the end of the year, so that's a reachable goal. So if you're listening out there, make sure that you subscribe. Any closing thoughts, bro?
No. I think this is a very interesting song and an interesting group. Perhaps a better group put together than the We Are the World people. Just because it wasn't like everybody from all walks of life, and they didn't come in there doing total garbage from the beginning. I don't like the song, but I do think it's better than the other, and I still applaud them for what they were trying to do. Great people. So with that, that's basically all I have to say. Thanks for having me on here again to talk about this thing.
Oh, no doubt. And finally, why wasn't Waylon Jennings invited?
Because Waylon Jennings,
He was alive at the
like
time.
foreigners. He probably is like, you know what? I don't like foreigners. I don't like your British accent. I don't like me as you sound like a leprechaun. I don't like that. I don't want to be on this track with y'all. You know, I think I'll bring Willie if I do. Me and Willie and maybe Johnny and Chris. We'll be on here. We have the highwaymen on here. If you don't want us to be on here, you don't want to bring some outlaw country to your group, then I don't want nothing to do with you. That's probably what happened.
Dude, that's extra.
You know, you mentioned Waylon, and I just had to think about it. That's probably what happened.
Okay, that's a fitting conclusion. Because I got nothing to say. All right, so chime in, everybody. Hit me up. Let me know what y'all think, because you just heard what Lonzo thinks. Damn it. Bye.